thrift stores. We're all familiar with them, and when it comes to thrifting, there are two main reasons people do it. Number one is people who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford certain things. They can buy them used at a fraction of the cost. So, for example, if you're moving in to your first place and maybe you can't afford to get things like dishes, pots, pans, furniture brand new, you could go to the thrift store and you could get those same things for much cheaper, and you might even luck out and get a really good brand. Number two is environmental. So many clothes and other products get thrown away every day, and so much stuff is produced just to get thrown out. So when you go thrifting, you are extending the lifetime of these products, and you're ensuring that they don't wind up in a landfill. Now, of course, these aren't the only reasons people thrift. Some people just like getting a good deal. Some people want to dress vintage or put together their own looks for a much cheaper price. Some people might be a collector or a hobbyist who enjoys restoring old tech or dolls, whatever the case may be. But those first two things are kind of the main things we think of, and certainly when people donate to a thrift store, it's usually with the thought in mind that those items are going to benefit someone who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford them. However, recently, thrift stores, and especially the large chains, are completely out of control.
$3 for a Walmart shopping basket. Okay. $20.99, $15.99. So this is like a set of mixing bowls, and they've priced them all individually. And $20.99 for a used bowl? $60 for used runners. Oh, but they're UGG brand. So what? They're used runners. $3.99 for used lighters. Oh my god. It's like clippers. And it's like used clippers that has hair in it. Oh, it's disgusting. No! It's a real pumpkin. It's an actual pumpkin. They're just putting it out. They truly do not care. $10, $5.99 and $9.99 for old cassettes. Like, you want to believe that this stuff is made up, but it's not. $4 from Dollarama when it was new, and it is now $4 used. Yay! What a good deal. Stop. $6,000? $6,000. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's too high. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. You just sell anything at a thrift store for $6,000. You know why? You know why? Because let me tell you the amount of people who are walking into a thrift store with $6,000. Number one, with $6,000. And number two, with $6,000 they're willing to spend all at once on one item from a thrift store. 0.0 people, right? So this ring, whatever you believe it is, it's not gonna sell, and it's gonna end up in a landfill. And you could have sold it to someone for $5 and they might have enjoyed it, but no, it's clearly it's better this way. So this person did what I always do. And they did actually get reprimanded by Health Canada. Health Canada gave them a warning. They said they had to take all this stuff off their shelves. They could not sell it. And it was off the shelf for like probably about a month, but now it's all just back. So like I said, they literally do not care. Set of picture holders that spelled Christmas, but each block was priced at $3.99. $70 for a blanket. Okay. $6 for some empty Coca-Cola bottles. Wonderful. Always wanted that. Oh my, okay, so this is like a decorative bottle from IKEA. As you can see, IKEA sells them for $3.99, but Value Village sells them for $5.99. Okay, why not? Only $4.99? Why? Why is it? Someone please tell me why. $25. For what? Metallica cassette tapes? Why? Why? Thrift store where it was $10, but now that it's double used, basically, it's $20.99. Okay, no. Okay, it's like a case that used to have a screwdriver and screws in it, and now it's empty. And also $8. $24 for these used shoes, and like, look at the all the grip is gone off it. Oh my god. $300 for a used chair, of course. Why am I at the thrift store? Right? Why am I here? Why wouldn't I just go to IKEA at this point? It makes no sense. $35 for what is this, used nail polish or something? Right now you can get a gift set that includes a 90ml bottle of this with scented lotion for $30 at Shoppers and $20 online. Unreal. Original price, $3. Used price, $10. Yay! Because it's vintage! Yeah, you know, not everything that's used is actually vintage. Yeah, some things are just dollar store items. What even is this? They're selling a broken, rotten lava lamp for $9. The springs are rotted off the base. Stop! These are my favorite. $2, brand new. $6.99 used. Yeah, that makes sense.
And some of you may be asking, well, what's the big deal? So what if thrift stores raise their prices? So what if some of these things are more to buy used than they were to buy new? Well, first and foremost, the most obvious is that poor people can no longer afford to shop there. And while it's true that some thrift stores' profits or a percentage of those profits do go to charity, even the for-profit places like Value Village and Goodwill still sort of present themselves as a charity, and when people donate to these places, it's with the idea in mind that these things are going to be used by someone and enjoyed by someone who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford it. The majority of people who donate to these places have the idea that these items are going to go to someone who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford them, who can make use of them, or simply will enjoy them. But if they're actually pricing poor people out, number one, that's scummy because they're collecting donations under false pretenses, but also these people who should be able to afford to shop there can't. Secondly, it's bad for the environment. You know, a lot of people thrift because they're trying to prevent these things from being thrown into landfills. But if they price them so high that no one buys them, they're just going to end up in the trash anyways. And yes, some places do sell their unused items in bulk to resellers, but those people are still throwing out anything that doesn't have a high value on the secondhand market. So if everything was priced low or even reasonably, it would sell fast. And instead, these items sit there because they're unreasonably priced, and then they just wind up getting thrown in the garbage at the end of the day. So they would rather have these things end up in the trash than have someone actually make use of it. Hey guys! Today's video is sponsored by me. So I have started a Patreon. The link for that is in the description. You can join to get exclusive monthly content as well as patrons-only live streams every single month and the entire back catalog archive of all live streams from the entire history of this channel. Also, check out my Etsy store, which is also linked below, where I sell cute stickers and vintage Barbies. Alright, back to the video. Now, it's true that some thrift stores do send their unsold clothes overseas through different charities they partner with, but that's not true of all of them, and it's not true of the other items that are not clothing. Some people might say, well, just think of it more as a vintage store. You know, that stuff's old. A lot of it's probably valuable. You'd pay for it at a vintage store. You'd pay for it on eBay, so why not at a thrift store? Well, the difference between a vintage shop or an antique store and a thrift store are pretty big. Firstly, not everything that's old is actually valuable. You know, a pair of George brand jeans are not particularly high on the secondhand market. You know, used Shein clothes are not really sought after, especially not if I could just go to Walmart or Shein and get the same item for less new than they're selling it used. So a vintage clothing store, for example, is going to have items that are actually curated. The owner typically knows about what they're selling, and sometimes it's even conveniently arranged in the store by decade. But that also means that they're putting in the time to research these items. They aren't selling 2-year-old fast fashion for double its retail price. Most importantly, though, is that in nearly all cases, vintage and antique shops are buying their inventory. So in order to make a profit, they have to sell it for more than they paid for it. And sure, they might buy entire collections or entire estates for a more efficient price than they would pay individually, but that's still paying for it. Thrift stores, on the other hand, all of their inventory is donated, so it's 100% free for them. And yes, they do have other expenses, but free inventory is pretty big, so they're profitable as long as they sell it for something. So what is going on? Why is this happening? Well, the simple answer would probably just be corporate greed, right? Companies like Value Village and Goodwill and others are for profit, so if they decide to jack up their prices just to make more money, that would make sense, right? But I don't actually think that's the case. Well, for example, Goodwill, their prices have actually stayed low. For example, I ordered a printer/scanner, and it was brand new, and it didn't come with the cord to connect it to the computer. And no, it was not a Bluetooth. And since they wanted, like, more than $50 for those cords at Staples, I went to Goodwill and I got the cord for 50 cents, and it worked perfect. But yeah, my point is Goodwill, for profit, low prices. Value Village, on the other hand, is kind of weird. Like, the prices can be completely different depending on which location you go to. Some locations choose to jack up the price on stuff like jewelry or teacups, some do it with toys, some do it with shoes, but they're all different. So for example, I thrift a lot of Barbies, as you can see, and some Value Villages price them at $6.99 across the board, some do it at $2.99 across the board, $4.99, and others just seem to do them completely randomly. Also, according to an inside source of mine, some people from head office actually came down to inspect some of the stores, and they were actually really surprised by how high they had the shoes priced. So I do kind of tend to believe that these managers are just sort of doing whatever they want. And I don't really know why. Like, as we saw with the used cosmetics, even being warned by Health Canada, they just put them out later. Like, why? I can't explain it, but that seems to be the case, which I think is, like, probably the most odd explanation. So yeah, we're at the point where even thrift stores aren't affordable anymore. What a depressing world we live in. So if you have been seeing outrageous prices at thrift stores lately, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to check out my Patreon, subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!